Okay guys, so for this video I want to show you how to open for a bowl. Opening for a bowl and opening for a cylinder are two very different types of hand movements and like interiors that you're making. So you really want to be clear as to which type of shape you're making. And when I say opening for a bowl, I mean opening for a rounded interior. You could have a rounded interior on a jar, like something that has a volume. But the difference between opening for a cylinder and opening for a rounded interior is there's no corner, right? It's just a smooth interior curve that will then become part of a volume as opposed to opening for a cylinder. Okay, so first step, I've already got my clay centered. If you need help with centering, just refer back to the centering 2 or centering 4+ pounds videos. They're both available for free. I'm going to use a very similar hand position actually to begin the opening process as I did for the cylinder opening video. So I've got my middle and ring finger of my right hand and a little water on the clay. And I'm bracing actually against the thumb of my left hand, so it looks just like this. Now, one distinct difference that's going to happen like right from the outset is instead of drilling a hole down into this volume interior or bowl-shaped interior, I'm going to kind of push on it instead. So I'm going to try never to make anything that's not a curve happen. So I like to actually follow the wall down with like a wider area, or like two fingers pressing together rather than being like up and kind of drilling like you would for a cylinder. We're kind of a low, wider shape, so you want to keep the piece kind of spread open the whole time. So you can see that, right? I've got like a V here. It's not like a channel dropping right away. Okay, so I'm pushing down. And this is going to be similar to the cylinder opening video. We need to know how thick the bottom is. So we'll do a quick test with the needle tool. Again, you'll get kind of practiced at this, and it doesn't really require testing each time, but for the sake of teaching, I'm going to test the bottom thickness. I like to aim for 1/2 inch kind of across the board. That gives me plenty of opportunity to trim a nice high foot. You can always trim it away if you want. So I'm going to be using a needle tool just to test the bottom thickness. I have a whole video on needle tool use, which is kind of specific to cutting off rims and things like that for leveling. If you don't know how thick the bottom of your pot is, trimming is going to be like a really difficult task. So I'm just going to invert the needle tool right into the center point of the pot and test the bottom thickness by sliding my finger right up to where the clay begins. And again, we have something in the neighborhood of 1/2 inch, which is fine. So it is important to run over that hole a couple times and make sure it gets closed up. And now, I don't like to pull a bowl open or a volume shape open by drawing towards myself. I like to go to the side. It gives me a better visual on what the curve looks like from the outset. Otherwise it's very foreshortened and it's hard to tell if it's a smooth curve or not as you're opening. So I like to go to the right, and I use my left hand to do it. So at this point I'm switching what hand is on the inside of the pot. So we're going to start right in the center here, and it's leading with my middle finger, and I'm moving out and up like that. So now you'll notice there is no corner. Right? There's no like right angle, no flat and like perpendicular wall. It's just a consistent curve, and it's going to be throughout the whole process of throwing. I'm going to push down and then gently move up the wall like that. So now it's a little bit larger, but again, there's no point at which it changes direction, right? It's a curve. It's fairly consistent. That's what you want to go for. With bowls and pots in general, it's a good idea to add a little bit of extra compression when you're opening. Some clay bodies kind of appreciate it more than others. It's not critical for some clays, but as a general rule, I go across the bottom a few times and like to apply a little pressure. And I'll go back to the center point and up the wall. And I'm not digging a corner here, I'm just reinforcing the curve shape. Alright, getting a little bit of a dense layer on the surface by pushing as I'm opening.
Okay, that's pretty much it for how we're going to open for a bowl shape.
Okay guys, thanks for watching my video on how to open for bowl or volume shapes. See you in the next one.